people for last week. Sorry guys, I saw you'll probably noticed there was no episode last week. I had a whole lot of problems. You won't believe I was in jail, my phone was taken, I lost my job, a whole lot of shit. But yeah, so guys, I'm sorry for last week, so from this week we're moving. We had some guests, to those guys, I'm not going to mention because we're rescheduling with them, so guys, you'll know who you all are. Sorry for last week, we did speak, but yeah, we're going to reschedule maybe next week or so, and then you will see who last week's guest was supposed to be. But today, we are on time, we are here, we are prepared. We have Nadine Blouw. We are to speak on some mental health awareness. And I think I need to speak about it after what I've been through last week. So Nadine is going to help me out. I just put it a bit softer. I'm alone today, guys. He left me. He's having some car issues, he couldn't make it, so it's just me today. Let's get into this with Nadine. It's me here, Dylan, away on. Welcome back to the bowler. Summertime, there's no bowler.
I was wondering where's the bowler.
No, we tried it one day. We had a guest and we made a bowler just for aesthetics. But
yeah.
it's burned out here. So we just leave it empty. As you all know where the bowler is supposed to be. So just imagine the bowler there. Winter time we'll bring you all a bowler again. So Nadine is here today to, I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I spoke a part on mental health awareness. I'm not really clued up. I don't have the knowledge. Nadine does. So she's here. She's here to help us out on that topic today. So those of you who want to speak on mental health awareness, who's suffering, who has friends or family who needs help, I think stay tuned. We're gonna get out as much information as we can today. Nadine Blouw, firstly, introduce yourself and where does your journey start with mental health awareness?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nadine Blouw. I am 23 years old and an educator in Park. We decided to have a mental health campaign because I personally had my own journey with mental health. I've tried to commit suicide. I only know of 3 attempts. The other attempts I'm not aware of. And also I experienced a lot of problems with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the help that I needed to get through my depression and to learn how to cope with my anxiety.
Okay.
And there's a lot of young people and even older people in Park, in the world actually, who don't know how to deal with those issues. So that is how we came about the campaign.
Okay. So then, in a nutshell, what would you say? What is mental health?
Mental health. It's any problems you have in the mind, basically. That you feel sad. For depression, you feel sad most of the time. You don't know why you feel sad. You become anxious. Anxiety is just shivering, or that's how mine was. Shivering, forgetting certain stuff. I once went to an ATM and I just stood there. I'm like, what is my PIN? I tried every single PIN.
Sure.
I didn't know what to rush back home and then took my phone and went back to the bank. So mental health is a problem within the brain, and it's not something that you can see, but you feel. Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is because a lot of people is going through things like that and they don't know why.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned now before we started, I was sitting in jail the past weekend. You all had the campaign.
Yeah.
They said that I wanted to come through, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. And when I was sitting there, there's so much that rushes through your head because this is something you don't expect to happen. Guys, I didn't fang any kakas. I said, don't look at me like that. It's just life. Life will put you through something. It will test you. And then I went through so much in my head. Yeah. And then I thought about it because I was laying there and I was thinking, even though this wasn't my fault or it's something I can't speak on now, but even though it wasn't my fault or anything, a lot of people get put through situations like that, and then they will think of suicide, they will think of cut to do to themselves because they can't deal with what they're going through. I think I was very strong in getting through what I went through, but what advice can you give people on how to deal with going through issues like that?
Okay, so last week we spoke, and there's different ways for different people. Everyone cannot cope with their mental health in the same way. For one person, you can use the meds, you can go on antidepressants, and that person is fine. There's calming meds for anxiety. Like for me, that worked, but it became very addictive, so I stopped using it. But the one thing that really works is therapy. And it is quite expensive, so the best thing, therapy is basically speaking to someone. You know? And I would definitely encourage people to speak. You know? Have that person that you can speak to and they just listen.
Yeah.
Bly bietjie stil en luister, you know? We all need that person, so...
Yeah, you must also learn to shut up.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't listen.
Yeah.
People tell us about their problems, but then we try to bring our
problems as well. Yeah. Or your friend tells you this is how they feel, they're gonna commit suicide. And then you're like, ach, is it alweer jy? And you don't know that that's actually the day where they've reached their breaking point.
Sure. So you're saying you don't necessarily need a therapist, but get one person you can speak to, be maybe a parent, a friend, family member, whatever.
Yeah.
So just try to find that person you can speak to that's gonna listen.
Yeah.
Also, you don't necessarily need advice, but you need to let it out.
But I think also seeing a doctor, if it's really high ups and very down lows, you know, if your mood change and everything just feels, if you feel really, really sad, like on a continuous everyday, I think it is good to see a doctor. You know, speaking to someone else, but also getting medical help is important.
Okay. So then, when it comes to therapy, do you think that's something that should be done only, like when you in an issue, when you have a bind, when you're feeling sad, when you think something is wrong, or can it be done even like when you're in a normal state of mind, nothing's wrong at the moment, you just seek a therapist just for peace of mind?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, to seek therapy, even if life is good. We all sometimes need someone to speak to, and sometimes you think life is good, and you don't realize that actually it's not as good as I thought it is. So I would say it's a good idea speaking to a therapist in general, if it wasn't so expensive.
So then what would you say one should do if the support they're seeking, be it a therapist or whatever, it's not helping? They still having the same thoughts, still going through the same thing, but they are seeing a therapist, they are trying their best, but they...
I think, as I said, there's many ways. So research as well. Some people exercise and that helps you. And also, sometimes you need to sit with yourself and just have a moment with yourself. Maybe write down or just speak to yourself even. And ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? You know? For me, exercise helped. Even though it's difficult in this heat to exercise helped. I think you need to first go through the process, through everything, use your meds, you go to a therapist, try antidepressants, and also work on your spiritual life. I think once you know where you are and who you are spiritually, that you can work through it as well.
Yeah, so basically find yourself, figure out try to figure out for yourself what the problem is
Yes.
before going to someone and letting them figure out the problem.
Yeah, or you could do both. You can do both, yeah.
Okay. You know what some of the causes of mental health issues could be?
What some of the causes?
Mm.
Well, I'm not an expert on mental health, so everything I speak based on myself and people that I know. I think what caused mine is constantly seeking a relationship with my father.
Okay.
You know, he is in my life, and he was in my life that time when I tried to commit suicide. But constantly seeking for that, I ended up making myself feel sad about it, holding on to unforgiveness. So I think a lot of young people in our country especially seek the love of a father, or, you know, in the case of men, it could be a mother that's not there, you know, that's alive but not active in their child's life. And schoolwork as well. Schoolwork can be a cause of mental health issues. I'm not sure about high school, but for me, university, definitely. The pressure in university is on another level.
Sure. Okay, then so because a lot of people that suffer from, you get old people that suffering, but a lot of young people are suffering with mental health, and this is high school children, university.
Yeah.
So if I'm worried about my mental health, if I think I'm going through something, or a friend or a family member of mine is going through something, what do you do at that point in time?
There is a website, SADAG, that will call you immediately if you don't have airtime to call them. But they answer, and on the website they ask you what exactly is wrong. You can say you're feeling depressed or, you know, sad, and they call you and just have a conversation with you until you feel fine.
Okay.
But I would always advise speaking to someone, because I isolated myself and that made me feel much more worse in the end. So definitely speaking to someone.
What makes you want to isolate yourself instead of seeking out help?
I think I thought I was happy on my own. I like being alone.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it came to a point where my doctor did not want me to be alone. So then I had to force myself to be around people. And then I realized I like being around people, just certain people, you know, people that actually understand me.
Okay. So you mentioned exercise. I am also big on exercise. I'm trying now. I used to. Now I'm trying to
It's
get
too
back
hot
in
now.
there. It is. And I try to do it early because I feel that the earlier you do it, like it gives you more energy for the day. But then now waking up is also a problem. You said exercise. Can you just give some more things to do to keep you busy and keep your mind away from the issues?
So I googled everything that I did. I exercised, I had some time with myself. I would lit candles up in the house and just, you know, just focus, meditate, have a moment to myself. Reading as well. I used to read a lot, and then I just stopped somewhere along the way. So I started reading again. I stopped again, but that helped while I was going through mental health problems. And also going out with friends and doing new things, going hiking, have a picnic now and then. Such things helps.
Okay. So now you've been through what you've been through, right? So how do you relate to people now after being what you've been through? Because I'm sure you listen more attentively, because I think people can speak to you in ways and they beat around the bush.
Yeah.
So how's your relationship with people now after being through what you've been through?
I think I focus more on how people are truly feeling, you know. Before I seek therapy and went through my journey, I would think just because someone is smiling that they are happy.
Yeah.
And there's a quote that says, I don't know the exact quote, but ask your friends who are smiling all the time how they are. And then I started doing that because I had one friend who constantly has a smile on her face, and she's just happy living life like everything is fine. And then the one day I asked her, like, are you fine? And she said, no, you just have to push through life. So going through what I went through allows me to actually sit with people and have deeper conversations and understand more how they feel.
Okay. Sure. I had a question here now. Sorry, this thing just scrolled down here. Okay, so now sometimes people don't like to speak, or they're very harsh in their response because they're going through something. So if you see someone is going through something, but there's someone that's very difficult. As we're back, so yeah, someone that's difficult to speak to. How do you approach someone like that?
Someone who's difficult to speak to, I would advise being someone who doesn't really open up to people much. I would say just be around the person and make sure that your presence is known. Sometimes you don't need to ask someone the whole time, how are you okay? Just be there for them.
Okay, be there. Your presence alone is more than enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after being through everything you've been through, you sitting here now, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I have my down days, but I've learned how to cope with it, especially with my anxiety. Through therapy, I have learned how to control it. So for that, I'm glad.
Okay, controlling your anxiety.
Yeah.
How do you control your anxiety? And how do you control it, and how have you, and what got you to the point where you can control it?
I control it simply by speaking to someone most of the time.
Okay.
So I would tell a friend that I'm not fine, or a cousin, or anyone that I'm close to. I will tell them that I'm not fine and speak to them or visit them. Sometimes if I'm not able to do that, then I just try to have a moment with myself and listen to music. That's what helps me.
Okay.
What was the second question?
How did you get to the point of being able to control your anxiety?
I have no idea how or when it started, how I was able to, but through therapy, that's how I learned that the therapist told me that everything is not black and white. It's not what I think it must be. People that go through mental health problems just focus on themselves. Everything is about me. It's me. I'm going through this. I am sad. And it took the therapist to be like, no, girl. Everything doesn't revolve around you.
Okay.
So yeah, I think basically therapy helped me control my anxiety.
Okay. And, how long was your process of therapy?
A few months, I can't really remember. I think 3 to 6 months, somewhere around there.
Okay. And did you see the difference from when you started, or did it take some time?
It took some time because I think I went once every week in the beginning.
Okay.
And then it would be maybe like twice a month. The first month I wasn't really happy with what the therapist was saying, so I was like, maybe I should just stop going to therapy all in all. But then I'm like, you know what, let me go, let's hear what this man has to say. And yeah, so I think it's 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so then, you're saying you felt like not going, but then you made the decision to just carry on. Would you then advise people, if they're feeling like that, to maybe just change the therapist, or how, if they're not feeling the therapist they're dealing with?
I have spoken to one of our speakers from last week, and she told me that her first therapist did not work for her. It did not work at all. She went to him for a few months and she felt no change. She just felt the same. So when she eventually saw another therapist, she felt way better. So I feel it's not just one therapist that will work for everyone. you might prefer a male therapist, I might prefer a female or a male. So I think that's also a journey, finding the therapist that works for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now this campaign you had last week, was that the first? Are we going to see more of that?
Definitely. We're planning on having a campaign every year.
Okay.
So next year we're definitely going to have something, and we're definitely going to go bigger. We didn't know what to expect, so
Okay.
now that we see the support and the love from the community, and also the speakers who just avail themselves like that for free,
Yeah.
that was really moving for us. So we're definitely going to have it every year.
Okay, nice. You were from Rakapat, right?
From, yeah, but I don't live there
You're
anymore.
not there anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Rakapat, we see there's a lot of things happening in Rakapat. Do you think that it could be people not dealing with mental health issues causing problems? Because I think drugs is a very big problem in
Yeah,
Rakapat.
it is. Definitely.
I think that could be caused by mental health issues and not dealing with such issues that brings such
Definitely. I went to Dr. Valahasa the first time I started with antidepressants, and we just had a normal conversation. And then that's when she told me, no, you need to go on antidepressants. And the first thing she said to me, she asked me, have you ever taken drugs? And I'm like, no, why? And her response was, with everything you've been through and the way your mental health is, I would have expected you to try something already. So I definitely think that people need to deal with their mental health problems. There's also other issues in Reykjavik which causes the drug abuse and stuff, but I think mental health is definitely one of the biggest problems.
How do you think we can tackle that drug issue? Because that is a big one.
It is a very big one. I am not a specialist on it. Also, I have a lot of family members that's on drugs, and I think it's just up to the person, because I've seen people change and want better for themselves. So if that person doesn't want to change, I don't think there's really much that anyone can do for the person. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned a website earlier, SADAG. You just want to share that website quickly for people to... Do you know what the...
It's just SADAG. You just type in on Google SADAG, SADAG, and then it pops up. It's the first website that pops up. And also, if people need to speak, we have TCTF, our Facebook page and Instagram page as well. The CEO's number is on there for anyone who wants to speak or needs help.
TCTF?
Yes, TCTF.
What is TCTF?
It's an NPO. I'm a board member of the NPO.
Okay.
The Children Their Faces. We basically try to create a safe haven for the children of Reykjavik during the school holidays and Christmas time. We have different events to get the children together, and because, as you said, the drug problem. Most of the children that come to our events, parents are on drugs. So they don't have that safe place to go to. So we try to create a safe environment.
So it's in Rakapat?
Yes, it's in Reykjavik. In Open Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people can go there as well if they need help.
They can send a message on the Facebook, and then we'll just help them out there.
Okay, so TCTF on
Facebook, Instagram, and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, we will put the things there for you.
Okay.
You'll just send me everything we need to put up there. Okay, and then there's something we do on the podcast. It's called A Day in the Life of. So, a day in the life of Nadine. Just, I don't know if you want to pick your busiest day or your slowest day. What do you get up to from beginning to end?
Okay. Get up, wash. I'm trying this new thing where I exercise every morning. I'm saying I'm trying because Friday I did not do it. So get up, exercise, take a shower, get myself ready for work, go to work. I work at Reykjavik Primary, so then I go there. Have a difficult time with some of the children there. Then I leave work around 2:30. and go home, exercise again, read, and yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired most of the time, so yeah.
What grade do you teach?
Grade 1.
Grade 1. Yo.
43 of it.
Yes. How is that?
That's what I'm saying. It's difficult. It's really difficult. It's tiring as well. But we move, as people say.
Sure. Okay. And then write this down. It's another segment we have on the podcast, just for you to share for some people. I don't know if you want something, then if it's something you've already mentioned in this episode, or something you'd like people to write down, a quote, a philosophy, whatever.
Okay. I love my life according to Psalm 16 verse 3. Commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed.
Okay.
That's it.
Say again.
Commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed.
Okay.
I think that says it
Right
all. I don't
there.
need to explain.
Nice. What did I want to ask now? Okay, yeah. Is there anything you feel I should have asked I didn't ask that you would like to get out there?
No, but I would basically just like to encourage everyone to join in on talks of mental health, because we have a lot of people that's suffering from it. I know some may not be ready to speak on it, like myself also. I get emotional sometimes while speaking about it, but there's someone else that is going through the same thing, or thinking about committing suicide, and just you being open about what you went through can help that person. So I just want people to speak, man. Speak about how you're feeling and seek the help that you need.
Okay, and people can also reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Nadine Blouw, guys. Reach out. If you need help, there's Nadine. You can reach out to her. TCTF in Brescia Park on Facebook, on Instagram, and SADAG.
SADAG, yeah.
And SADAG. They gave you some options, not all of them. You can also go do some research. Google helps a lot.
Definitely.
If you have internet, Google, it can help you with a lot. Any advice for someone that feels they might be going through something?
Advice. Can you cut it? Just cut it. I wasn't prepared for that question.
Anything. Is the smallest thing, whatever.
Any advice? I would say work on yourself. Working on yourself is a daily process. And sometimes you can have everything in life. You can have the car, the job, everything, and still not be happy. So definitely make time for yourself. Go on a date with yourself. Light candles in your house by yourself, and just have a moment to yourself as much as possible. Try every day.
Okay. Wayne, do you have any questions?
What would you say to someone like you know how some people, they don't really know yet if they're going through stuff, and then they start isolating themselves, like you said earlier. How would you maybe encourage them or advise them to just to, I don't know,
To seek help.
to seek help?
To seek help. I would say if they're not prepared to speak to family members or friends, or they don't really know what they're going through, definitely try contacting SADAG and have the therapist speak to you over the phone to see how you actually feel. Because sometimes it takes you a long time to realize if you are depressed. And also go to a doctor. Have a doctor that you are really close with, that has conversations. You know, some doctors just take you as a patient. You're just there for flu meds or whatever. The first time I was depressed, I did not go for depression. I went for my knee. My knee was sore. So there's many signs of depression. It can be pain in the body. One of our speakers, actually the doctor said, with men especially, men, their depression start by body pains.
Okay.
So it's best to go to a doctor and just seek help. Yeah.
Okay, guys, speak, because you mentioned it so many times now in this episode.
Yeah.
Just speak. If you have a friend, if you have a family member, someone you can speak to speak. If you can't speak to
Don't
anyone,
have friends that
go
you
to a
can't speak
doctor.
to.
Yeah. Cut them off rather. Leave them if you can't speak to them. But I think you have people in your life that you can speak to.
Yeah.
That's going to listen also, most importantly. And also when people are trying to speak to you, listen. Don't try to bring your problems when someone is trying
Yeah.
to seek help from you. Put yourself aside for a moment and listen. You don't have to give the world's best advice, but I think that ear
Yes.
helps a lot. Just lending an ear.
Or even a shoulder. Just a hug
Yeah.
can help.
So guys, as a belief man, shut up, Bobby.
I think that's the best advice.
Nah, I think someone write that down. Shut up, learn to shut up. Nadine, are you happy?
I'm happy.
You
I think
felt
so.
you got everything out
Yeah,
there.
I think so.
I'm gonna definitely reach out to you because I've never been through anything mental health wise, but I just feel it's a very important topic because you see a lot of people going through it, and it's young people especially. It's sad to see, man. So,
Yeah.
And I always have mentioned it a few times on the podcast. So I'm gonna reach out to you because I also wanna do like a campaign or something of my own. You know people I can speak to get it done.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely reach out. We're gonna. Cause I don't think we can wait for next year. I must
Yeah,
last
and,
week.
and, and we definitely need more men. We need men to be more involved as well in mental health campaigns.
So that is actually because
Yeah.
I've seen with suicide as well. There's a lot of men.
Yes. Because they don't speak about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't.
And when they do speak about it, I think people are just like, you a sissy, or just don't care to listen.
Yeah, like be a man.
Yes.
You'll get through
Which
it.
is wrong,
Yeah.
actually.
It is. Don't know that is shit. Definitely men go through a lot.
And
When I need a
parents also
shoulder
need to
there to
change. And our parents also need to change their mentalities of the fact that they think, no, you're demon possessed if you are depressed, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people also, personally growing up in a Christian house, I felt like I was going to be told that I'm possessed for wanting to commit suicide, which I know committing suicide is wrong. But in that moment, I didn't care.
Yeah.
So if our parents can also change the way they think, I think that would go a long way for the youngsters that are going through mental health problems.
Yeah, because I think also being so hard and so harsh, it's what causes you to not want to speak,
Yes.
to isolate yourself.
And I mean, your parents should be the ones that you're able to speak to about these things, you know?
Exactly. They should be the first ones. you know.
Yes.
So, Nadine, it was very nice meeting you.
Likewise.
We're definitely gonna be in touch. We're gonna do a campaign.
Yes.
Guys, from Podcast Barabola, we're gonna have a mental health awareness campaign. Do I have any announcements? I don't think so. I think we're just gonna go with the bowl list, nah?
The bowl is
Yeah. So we've been going through the past few weeks. We've been going through. Because we need a name for our viewers, our subscribers. We don't want to call them viewers or subscribers. Nah.
The bowl is.
So we came up with the bowl list. we were running a competition, or we are running a competition where the one who gives a name we're gonna choose, the one with the name we select is gonna win a t-shirt from our one. So what did I come up with? A light
The light
is.
is.
The light is because they light our fire. Today came up with the bowl list. Someone else. It was someone else. Oh, it was Jalil. Yeah, she, one of our other guests, she came up with Stoker's Yeah, and we haven't had anything else. Do you have a suggestion?
No, I don't. I think the bowless is fine.
The bowless is fire now, but I don't want to give you the t-shirt, so I don't want to choose the bowless. But I think we're gonna go with the bowless. So bowless, guys, this has been
Bowlies!
episode 10. You actually made it to our
Thank you
our
for
milestone.
having
It's a milestone for us. Episode 10. Didn't
Has it
think we
been
were gonna make
10
it.
episodes already?
This is number 10. Number 10 was supposed to be last week, but then because I was now. Yeah, so now Nadine is episode 10. She was going to be 11. That's your number 10. So guys, from Podcast by the Polar, he's not here to give a blend of the week. Doing us with the blend of the week there.
Oui.
Yeah, just let's help us something they're doing, man. Come on.
Oh. I can't blend of the week. man.
No blend of the week this week, guys. We will be back next week. Who do we have next week? Oh yeah, we're still trying to get last week's guys for next week. So see you all next week, guys. This has been episode 10 podcast by the Polar. Nadine, it was nice having you. It was nice meeting you. We are here, man.